that was strength for him. And as slowly as his functioning other half of the body started to happen, it gave him an opportunity to more deeply appreciate the training that his wife had received and the wonderful mood of his wife, but even more the urgency of taking full shelter in Krishna, because he'd like being given a second chance. But the spiritual resource carried him to that position rather than so many other places that one can be carried to. And and all the persons that watched this thing happening, that nurtured their faith also. How valuable this training in Krishna consciousness is. Because there's always something. It can be a bigger something or a smaller something, but it's always something that's bringing some disturbance into our life. And without shelter in Krishna, we just get absorbed in that, neutralizing that difficulty that's come into our life. The program is struggling very hard, and it doesn't end. It's not even end with this lifetime. It goes on lifetime after lifetime, struggle and struggle and struggle. That's the life of godless civilization. Simply trying to counteract the struggles better, or divert your attention to something else, so you don't have to feel the pain of that struggle. These things go on in material existence, and the spiritual solution is to face it head on. The root of the problem is, I'm in this material existence because I forgot Krishna. I, in a huff, turned my back on Krishna and went the other way. And I'm paying a big price for it. So, through the mercy of Krishna, back to the previous verse, when one receives mercy from Krishna, that mercy one should recognize what it is, very carefully cherish it, apply it in an ongoing manner in our life, qualifying ourselves to receive yet further mercy, and in different forms. It may look like, wow, this is really nice, or it may look like, wow, this is really not nice. But when mercy of Krishna comes, to recognize it and apply it, and it's supported very strongly by the hearing and chanting process. So when things happen, we have the strength through our training, through hearing and applying. And detach. Both of these verses. The first verse is attachment. The two verses following are detachment from body and things in relation to the body, and subtle things like, oh, you're famous, or oh, you're intelligent, or oh, you're whatever you are. The subtle and material assets of life are like a lead weight on a drowning man's body, unless the spirit of detachment is there, and one can learn how to bring about elevation through the mood of service. I'll read the sentence. It's 3 times in the purport explicitly. Attachment for household paraphernalia and for Lord Krishna go poorly together. One attachment is the path of darkness. The other attachment is the path of light. Where there is light, there's no darkness, and where there is darkness, there's no light. But an expert devotee can turn everything to the path of light by an attitude of service to the Lord. And the best example here is Pandavas, Maharaj Yudhisthira, and householders like him can turn everything to light by dovetailing so-called material assets in the service of the Lord. But one who is not trained or is unable to turn everything to the service of the Lord, Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe, must give up all material connections before he can be fit to hear and chant the glories of the Lord. In other words, one who has seriously heard Srimad Bhagavatam for even one day, like Maharaj Parikshit, because this is the first day of his hearing, from a fit personality like Shukadeva Goswami, may be able to lose all affinity for material things. And it's not optional. It's a necessary component, or it is part of devotional service. It is not that one has to give up household paraphernalia, but one has to give up attachment for household paraphernalia. One has to give up, doesn't have to give up the body, you have to give up attachment to identifying with the body. It elaborates on this in the next verse. It's such an important message. So, what's Maharaj Parikshit's qualification? He's exhibiting it. He heard, he fixed his mind upon the personality of Godhead. He was already fixed. He became more concentrated more deeply concentrated upon the personality of Godhead. As a result, he had the strength to further detach himself from the body and all things in relation to the body, the relatives of the relations of the body, and the paraphernalia of the household, and his animals, and his treasury, and his undisputed kingdom. He wasn't feeling any, oh my God, I'm losing all this stuff. It was gone. It was, even before it was gone, it was gone. I mean, attachment-wise, because of his deep absorption. And that opened his heart. This is the key thing in the whole process of hearing and chanting. It opened his heart so that the further messages that Shukadeva Goswami is going to speak went more deeply. It wasn't an intellectual, oh, this is very interesting, what's next? It went deeply into his heart. So this detachment is critical for that to happen. Text number 3 and 4 go together. O great sages, this is Suta's responding to the question of the sages. What happened next? What happened next? They fixed his mind upon the personality of Godhead. He completely, even further, detached himself from any worldly circumstance. O great sages, the great soul Maharaj Parikshit, constantly wrapped in thought of Lord Krishna. It's Krishna Anubhava Shravane Shravadhano, with great faith. Knowing well his imminent death, he renounced all sorts of religious activities, namely acts of religion, economic development, and sense gratification, and thus fixed himself firmly in his natural love for Krishna, and asked all these questions, exactly as you are asking me. So we also ask questions. But we don't have that, it doesn't go as deeply. Thing that happens. So we're being informed. How does that go more deeply happen? It's gradual. Even in Maharaj Parikshit's life, it was gradual. But we have to apply the principle now so we can go gradually, more deeply. Krishna Anubhava, Shravane. From what he had heard, his complete absorption in Krishna, wrapped in thought of Krishna, with full faith. Prabhupada's purport, the three activities of religion, economic development, and sense gratification are generally attractive for conditioned souls struggling for existence in the material world. Such regulated activities prescribed in the Vedas are called karma kandya, conception of life, and householders are generally recommended to follow the rules just to enjoy material prosperity both in this life and in the next. Most people are attracted by such activities. Actually, they're attracted to the prosperity in this world and the next, and if something gets me there, I'll do it. Even in their activities, even in the activities of their modern godless civilization, people are more concerned with economic development and sense gratification, without any religious sentiments. So, the rest of the purport, I'll just preview it a little bit. He's taking us through this, like, the ladder, the chapter 12. This is at the top rung is consciousness fixed in the personality of Godhead. Mind absorbed in me, intelligence always fixed in me. In such a state, surely you will attain me. And if you can't do that, the next step down, you can't do that. So Prabhupada is, in the purport, at the bottom is the godless civilization of unregulated activities, and they too just want sense gratification. And to get sense gratification, economic development, and that's what's going on outside all the time. A little above that is we want sense gratification and economic development, but we want to be a little nice about it. We want to do that by following some kind of codes of religiosity. So Prabhupada indicates that's just the beginning of human civilization. They still want sense gratification. That's the numero uno. But I follow some kind of prescription of codes of scripture how to get there. So, godless vikarma and regulated by codes of religion. Better than that is knowledge. Better than that is meditation. Better than that is the process of karma yoga, where I give up the fruits of my work. Better than that is where I specifically dedicate the fruits of my work to the Supreme. Better than that is the regulations of Bhakti Yoga. Better than that is the platform of Maharaj Parikshit. He's already given up the rituals that people are. We see it in Krishna consciousness. People come to Krishna consciousness. They've got their sets of worships and rituals and things that, they want to bring that with them into Krishna consciousness. But the message of Krishna consciousness, so that can happen. We don't fault them for that. But the message of Krishna consciousness is, Ame Kam Sharanam. Just surrender to Krishna. Just surrender to Krishna. And He'll take care of everything. All desirable things, all purification, whatever it is. Because that's the essence or the real spirit of those other things anyway. Just do the essence. Expands this further. As a great emperor in the world, Maharaj Pariksit had to observe such regulations of the Vedic Karma Kandya section. He had to set example for people in his kingdom that, he was a Krishna Bhakta, like Maharaj Ambarish, Krishna Bhakta. But he understood there are persons in his kingdom that aren't on that platform, and so he engaged brahmanas and doing rituals that will help people in general understand how they can, be a little bit elevated besides animals. Prabhupada spoke like that also.
Hare Krishna. We'll pause here and we'll resume hearing on Monday. So any point, any discussion, question, or any realization? It was a beautiful discussion from Maharaj, that how Parikshit Maharaj actually could able to do that continuation from yesterday's things. And the root cause of everything is that the very concentrated mind fixed upon dear Lord Sri Krishna. Any thought here, any point? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Hare Krishna. Am I audible?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. If not, we could here continue then. Yes, Subodhi Rai Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
One small question, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Maharaj mentioned that we bring in our rituals and other things into Krishna consciousness, and the point is that we have to give up all this and then Krishna Eka Sharanam. So, could you please elaborate on this point in the sense there are many things that we usually do. Maybe we I don't want to misunderstand and give up the rituals that are necessary. So, are there any things that you could think of, like prominent things that we misunderstand that, oh, this might be used as Krishna consciousness, but oh, I have to give it up now. So, are there any things probably like that?
Thank you, Prabhu. Very wonderful questions. And when we begin to practice Krishna consciousness, because of some causeless mercy, as Nectar of Devotion says that, and but we carry our own karma, the baggage of karma. And I remember if Shamkun Prabhu is there, I request him to, because he very exclusively describe this thing, that how we can focus on Krishna. So, or if somebody else is there before Shamkun Prabhu speak, if somebody else want to add answer to Prabhu's question, then we can hear. It's a very wonderful question, because we come from our own karma, baggage of karma. But shall we carry that, or how to do about that? So anybody would like to answer here? Okay, nobody is there. Shamkun Prabhu, are you there?
I'm here, but I'd like to hear from you. You go ahead, and after you, I'll speak. If at all anything is remaining, I'll speak. You can please explain through.
Okay, so since there's some echo, I'm just closing. Thank you. So when we begin practicing Krishna consciousness, so we carry some of our previous things. And many of the things is just a matter of culture. It may not have any basis for that. But however, when we hear from Bhaktivinoda Thakur that what are the angas of a shelter, and which is Anukullesha Sankalpa Pratikullesha Varjanam. And so whatever the things which are favorable to service to Lord Sri Krishna, we accept that. And whatever the things which are not favorable to service to Krishna, one can reject that. And how can it happen? And today Maharaj mentioned it is happen only through a training. And in fact, that's a very wonderful example given by His Holiness Rampasa Maharaj at the beginning, that there was one Mataji, and then there was a person who got into paralysis, and then unfortunately his half of the body was not functioning. And because of the one example that how they actually turned to Krishna, and then Prabhupada, Maharaj also quoted Prabhupada from the purport that this would not happen over the night, because this is the Anushīlanam, Krishna Anushīlanam. It is a practice, it's a cultivation. And how this cultivation happens? Through the disciplic succession. Activity for the pleasure of Krishna, following in a disciplic succession. And that is the training that we are receiving here. And you see here, Maharaj was reading from Srila Prabhupada's purport, and our dear Lord does not reject anyone. He always see whatever is good in that, and Srila Prabhupada would always say that we have to see the spark and fan that spark. So here, Maharaj was mentioning that initially one may just have some codes of conduct, then there would come knowledge. Now, how this knowledge would come? The knowledge would come by hearing what we are doing here, hearing from the acharyas, great personalities, great souls, exalted soul. And when we hear from them, then we will come to the next stage of that meditation, and the result of that one then will come to the even renouncing the result of karma yoga. So karma yoga and the resulting the karma nishkama karma yoga, and then some angas of bhakti yoga, and then coming to the very condensed portion of the bhakti yoga, which is Parikshit Maharaj is exhibiting here: surrender, exclusive satim, exclusive surrender unto Lord Sri Krishna. And that is why we all are as a practicing sadhakas. That's why we are called as a sadhakas. Sadhakas means we engage our senses in nectar of devotion. It is said that the engaging our senses in the service of Lord Sri Krishna according to the guidance and training and training and instruction given in the scripture, Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. So hope that helped, and I request Shamkun Prabhu to add some more on that.
I'd like to, maybe I have some thoughts on this. But any other devotee here, would you like to share something to this nice question by Subudhi Rai Prabhu?
Prabhu, if I could please add one small point also
Yes,
in
yes.
my question.
Hmm.
So, means one thing that is encouraging from Maharaj's lectures are he doesn't talk about mainly balancing, but he talks about spiritualizing things. So I was always under the impression that okay, if there are any rituals also that we have to follow because of family or anything, I just think that okay, I'll just spiritualize it. I'll just do it to please them, like that. I generally think in that way. But hearing now that we have to give up all rituals and all those, so I'm thinking maybe maybe that's very advanced stage, or can we do it at this stage itself? I don't know. I'm unable to reconcile and apply it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Very nicely expressed, Prabhu, and honestly expressed. Yet, we have many nice devotees on this call. Anybody else who has a thought on what Subudhi Rai Prabhu said? We can go till 7:15 today, but please go ahead, and I want to hear from others too. Harisham Prabhu, you have any thoughts on this? Or
Hare Krishna.
No,
No, Prabhu, you can go ahead. I have to think about it.
okay. Let me tell a few aspects of your questions, Prabhu, Prabhu, Subudhi Rai Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
And in one sense, it is tied to the question yesterday by Ashok Prabhu in some ways. Ashok Prabhu asked the question yesterday, if Maharaj Parikshit already knew everything, why is he asking the question? Various answers were given. Kumari Kamataji spoke yesterday. I think Yugal Krishna Prabhu also spoke. I wasn't there in the call, but I heard the recording later. One of the aspects is, there's a very famous verse in the beginning of the Krishna book by Srila Prabhupada. It's a verse that comes in the beginning of the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, and Prabhupada uses that as I think a preface verse or something. It goes this way: Nivritta tarsher upagiyamanat bhavaushadhat shrotra manobiramat ka uttama shloka gunanuvarnat vina puman virajyeta vina pashubhnat. And this verse can be understood in multiple ways, except, and the meaning of this verse goes this way: except for the killer of a soul, who will not be attracted to hearing the messages of the Lord. In other words, there is an attraction for hearing the message, and this verse is actually a further elaboration upon the very famous verse Atma Ramascha Manayo Nirgrantho Api Gurukrame Kurvanti Ahetuki Bhakti Mittam Bhuta Guno Harihi. That in Atmarama verse, like a person who's satisfied with himself is still eager to hear more. So two aspects come out from this. Number one, why does a person want to hear more and more? One, every time they hear or they read Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, etc., they're able to understand the Supreme Lord in much better ways. That is why we have so many commentaries. They're able to link each word to something that's happening elsewhere. So even a person who knows something hears again because he's eager that the Supreme Lord can be described in so many ways, and they were eager to relish it. Number one. And number two is, which is what is the connecting link to your question today. Number two is, hearing is not just for relishing. It is not just for information. It is also to appreciate the connection of the speaker to the absolute truth, to appreciate the qualities of the Supreme Lord, and to appreciate the qualities of the devotee who's speaking about it. So to relish the rasa which the speaker is having and to relish the qualities of the speaker, that in itself is spiritual. So that's important. And this is the link to your question here, in the sense, I'll just elaborate it a little bit more. And I'll be more specific also here. The statement which Maharaj made is actually very much aligned with the 18.66 verse of 18th chapter 66 verse of Bhagavad Gita. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. What does this sarva dharman parityajya actually mean? Sarva dharman parityajya means that any dharma other than that of the process of directly worshipping the absolute truth, none of that is required. This includes, in one sense, if you were to say, this is the month of June, soon it's going to be the month of August, September, it'll be the month of all festivals in India. And what are those festivals? You'll have with the festivals for various devatas. Is it important to do them? No. It is not about the importance alone of doing it or not. It's more about, am I going to miss something? And that's what Krishna is telling Arjuna there. Don't think you'll miss anything. You can come directly to me. So this is one aspect which we as Indians especially, we carry forward from our cultural moorings or our cultural bearings, etc. So now the question that comes is, can I spiritualize it? if you have to spiritualize it, there has to be a method also to spiritualize it. In most cases, it also has to be like, is there a sense of worship given to, is there a methodology of worshipping or mantras given by our acharyas? So if you look at it, see, at every time we go back and look at what was the mood of our acharyas, which I want to connect to. And so every festival is spent to connect to that mood of the acharya. That's the link between yesterday's question and today's question. So doubttailing is what you said, is at a level. And most of us are not even probably at the level of doubttailing. We are just mindlessly doing things. What you said, doubttailing, that is doubttailing meaning I do something of my habits, I do something that I like, I try to spiritualize it. That is next level. But what Maharaj is speaking about is one level higher than that. It's not about doubttailing. He is saying, come to the stage of uh, Ananyash Bhakti. Okay. So now, does it mean that we um, disregard the other devatas? No, we don't disregard the other devatas. We do not uh, disrespect them. But then, if we don't disrespect them, are we losing something? In the a very prominent example that we get in the Ramayana is like when Hanuman was searching for Sita and he couldn't find it. He became very morose. He didn't know what to do. And he searched everywhere, nothing happened. And then he was just outside of the Ashokavana, but he felt that I should give up my life, everything else. I will stay here. If I go back, Lord Rama is not going to be happy. Everybody will die just by hearing the news that I couldn't find Sita. Better I stay here. Why to give a bad news? Don't be the conveyor of bad news. Over a time, they will be able to manage it. I will just not go from here. But then suddenly he did something there. What he did was um, he felt that Sampati had told me that he's here, that Rama, that's mother, it's not he, she, Mother Sita is here, and even from some sources, Lankini had also told him that Sita is here. So then he used some words actually. He said, this Sita, he calls Mother Sita as Yashaswini. Until her fame is, like Yashaswini means somebody whose fame is glorious. So if her fame is so glorious, no matter where a famous person is, somehow people will talk about it. So somehow I will be able to find out in this Lanka because her fame is glorious. It's going to touch me some my ears, it's going to touch my vision somewhere. So she is that Yashaswini, and I'll continue searching for her. But then how can I search for her? So he then prays to Mother Sita by saying Namostu Ramaya Salakshmanaya Devyai Chatasya Janakatmajayai. Like he says like that. He pays his obeisance to Mother Sita, that Devyai Chatasya Janakatmajayai. He pays obeisance to her and expresses his dependence on her. And the moment he does that, he gets into the Ashokavana and then he gets into seeing Mother Sita. In other words, the festivals that we perform ideally are to invoke that grace of the Supreme Lord. So there are festivals which we might say that, hey, these are nice festivals. Am I disregarding them, disregarding the other devatas, etc.? So the next line, Hanuman says, Namostu Rudra Indra Yama Anilebhyo Namostu Chandra Arka Marud Ganebhya. He says that I pay my obeisance to Rudra, Lord Shiva, Indra, Yama, Anilebhyo. Why? Because he learned something from all of them. When Hanuman went up the sky and tried to, as a young child, as an infant almost, he tried to swallow the sun. He got some benedictions from each of these. He got some benedictions from Lord Shiva, from Indra, or from the wind god. All of them, he got something. So he's paying obeisance to them. And that is why we have to look at in our own life who are the teachers who are giving us something. And we in the path of the Pancharatriki Vidhi that we are worshipping right now, and the Bhagavata Vidhi, it's important to do a lot of worship of these great acharyas, like Srila Prabhupada, Sanatana Goswami, Rupa Goswami, all of them. So it's not it's not like disregarding them. It is customizing these devatas for us. That's why if you go for a homa based on Gaudiya Vaishnavism, normally if you go do other homas, you would pray to, say, for example, Lord Shiva, maybe Kartikeya, maybe Ganesh, etc. But in the homa, as per the Gaudiya Vaishnava scripture, we'll pray to Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, all of these Goswamis. So that's it's not just dovetailing; it's coming in the right conception. That's number one. That's with respect to the festivals. Having said that, what should one follow? You have to identify more closely and speak to a devotee who's possibly can guide you, or Maharaj himself, if he's guiding you there, to see what level you can do. This is one level in terms of following festivals, etc. And why am I saying you have to follow it somewhere? It's because everybody wants a sense of belongingness. When you are in the company of devotees, like morning to night, you have lots of activities from morning to night with them. But if you're not in the company of devotees, if you're staying all alone, then depending on the nature of the person, they may feel like, I feel disconnected from everybody. I want to connect back to somebody. So what do? When they don't have connection to devotees, they get a connection back to their family, their parents. So many times people celebrate festivals primarily to connect to some event in their childhood, to the feelings of joy that they had from their parents, etc. So it is an expression of one's wanting connection more than anything else. And for a person who has no other resource, then maybe you can celebrate it because a stable emotional base is required to move further on. But definitely, one should use this as an opportunity that on a case by case basis, be guided to see what one can do. Uh, Sometimes it helps to be fully aligned with the parampara and celebrate festivals as per parampara alone. And for some, they may not be ready as it's a case by case basis. That is number one at a high level that I said with respect to the festivals. And as you are recently married young devotee, as you get married, you will find so many other rituals, like when a child is born, or when the child grows to a particular age in your culture, there will be something that will be done. So all of this actually become an impetus for you, me, all of us to ask for guidance from somebody. So the connection with yesterday's question, the culture that we are brought up with and the culture of the Bhagavatam, something they're different. Let it serve as an impetus for us to humbly go and ask devotees who can guide us on a case by case basis, so that we can then say, these are my attachments. And I don't even know whether some of these are my attachments. And that devotee will help us to identify, hey, do you see this is your attachment? Now, can you give this up? Or do you want to spiritualize it? Or you want to do it in a much more gradual way? Let's explore it. And when they sometimes give an instruction, it becomes a medium for us. Let me do whatever it takes. I will just give it up for the sake of this devotee. And then a big progress happens in our own life. That's that part of the first part with respect to the festivals and cultural movings here. Now let me take it further to the next step. It's more specifically for you, for me, and for all many of us who have taken what is called as Diksha, initiation. this whole notion of initiation can also be taken in a very family tradition way. There are many family traditions, I mean, families which say, oh yeah, you should take a mantra from some guru. Guru is important. Go to a guru and take Diksha. It's very important. That part is expressed very, very nicely. But what is the preparation for that initiation? Somehow that doesn't get carried forward in the culture. And one of the key things which we learn from the Pancharatrika literature, like the Satvata Tantra and the Sanat Kumar Samhita, etc., is that a person who's there who wants to receive mantra from a guru, one of the things that they should have is they have to be distressed by material life. Know that by myself, the Lord is difficult to attain. And there has to be a neat feeling that no more of engaging in this material life. And I want to get out of the Bhavasagar, the ocean of this material existence, but I can't do it on my own. I need the help of saintly personalities. I need the help of the mantra too. So one is ready to let go of attachment to this material world. It's not like an initiation is not like, okay, I've been here for so many months, so many days, and I just do, I have to go to the next step of initiation. No, this virakti has to be presented to some extent, and the asakti also has to be present. Where all of us at that stage, when we took initiation, maybe not, mostly. So even this thing has to be cultivated in us. That it's not that I am the, somehow or the other, I have to have a high grade enjoyment. It's not like the low grade enjoyment is I just enjoy for myself. High grade enjoyment is I will please God and I will please myself also. This notion should also be slowly out. It's everything for God, nothing for me. So this is also needs to be done. So let's try our best as much as possible here. That's it. I myself am not there at that level, but I don't think I should justify my level by saying because I am doing like this, everybody should do that. We have to speak about the Shastra, about the scripture exactly the way they say it. That's why I was more direct today.
Thank you, bro. Thank you so much. So we'll pause here, 7:19, and very, very wonderful day today. Subodhira, yes, bro, you are saying something?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you very much. I understood that a lot is to do with internal meditation also and preparation before it can truly manifest, like we can truly express it. So something really to think upon and then, slowly move in that direction. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. So today, very, very auspicious day. Every day is auspicious day. Yes, every day is a festival, and especially today is a Ratha Yatra of Lord Jagannath, the Lord of the universe. So may Lord Jagannath bless all of us here, and may we engage in His service rest of our life, eternity. So that's the purpose of our intention, our goal, our life. So with that, we will pause here. We'll continue on Monday. Same lecture starting from 36 minutes. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Dandot Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, His Holiness Rampa Swami Maharaj ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hare Hare Bol.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.